And we are live. Hello, puppies, and welcome back to another episode of the Isle of Series. Now, tonight, I feel like we're gonna be able to have some fun with this, just because in research for tonight's episode, I found just a bunch of little quirks and things that kind of made me giggle. So I'm excited to get into this. This is Isle of the 90s, and joining us tonight is George, Mr. Dee Runk. Hello. Hi.
How's it going?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking.
Thank you. All right. So, as everyone who's ever been on the show knows, this is where the ambushing happens. Are you ready?
No. Can I have like 10 minutes to myself?
Do
you need a lifeline
already? Nothing crazy has even happened yet.
All right, I'm gonna try and settle down. Let's do this.
Okay, well let's see if the first question can kind of ease into tonight's topic. So, right off the bat, what was your favorite memory from the 90s? Just kind of like something that happened and it's stuck in your brain forever.
I would just say, I don't know, everything I like in life happened during the 90s. Batman cartoons and X-Men, the cartoon series, and my favorite movie, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, came out in the 90s. The comic books that I collect and still collect to this day really came out of the 90s. I don't know, it's just good childhood memories that I don't know, I think a lot of people like to recapture their youth and relive it as much as possible. And when I think fondly about my past, I'm pretty much zoomed right into the 90s. So
very nice. So with that, what would you say was your favorite trend? And if you had a favorite, what was the one that you hopped on the bandwagon for?
My favorite trend is the one that I'm still on, which is comic book collecting. I remember my mom told me, she just, was going off of her knowledge of, comic books being valuable from when she was a kid. So she told me to get into the hobby. And I always liked Superman. I used to watch that with my dad. So right around that time is when the Death of Superman storyline started. And we were just dead certain that those books were going to make me rich someday. Wasn't the case, but it provided me with a lot of good memories. So
right. So did you guys watch the original movies, or did you guys stay tuned in for Lois and Clark?
All of the above. So the movies, I think I wore the VHS tapes down by watching them so much.
Oh.
And the Lois and Clark show, that was I will still watch an episode of that here and there.
Heck yeah.
No, I watch it on my DC Universe app. It's brings me back to the 90s again. And then but I also watched the old George Reeves television series with my dad. Because he watched that as a kid, and we'd watch it on some Nick at Night or something like that, and it was fun to watch.
So was there a trend that you remember just affecting you in general? Was there one that you kind of see sweep the area and it was just kind of random, but it just affected people you knew, or affected your area or your community?
I'd say the trend I didn't like was Pogs.
Hey, I still have a Pog. You quit that. Shame on you.
But that was a trend that swept through, and all of a sudden, I come to school one day and I'm not cool anymore because I don't have any Pogs and I don't even know what it is. And then, a week later, I've got 10,000 little cardboard discs that, I'm sitting there with this metal slammer. We're, trying to flip them over and whatnot. And
that's what I have. I have a slammer. That's
Oh my gosh.
Yes, you actually have that. You have my slammer from like 1991.
I don't know where it is.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure I gave it back.
You gave it back.
At least for like in my school, that was a trend that was there for like maybe one school season, and then you just had all these pogs, and like it got it fell out of fashion very quickly in my area.
Why do I feel like Pogs are the 90s equivalent to the fidget spinner rage
Yes.
that went
You know what,
happened
Rena?
a couple
Yeah, you're
years
right.
ago? Because like everybody wanted one, and then they came out with a whole bunch of different ones, and now like nobody talks about them anymore.
Elf.
Yep. No, Elf Pogs. No, my buddy had I was hanging out with her and her mom, and she was complaining to her mom that her mom wouldn't let her have the Simpsons Pogs because one of them had the devil on it.
Oh.
They argued about it for like 20 minutes. She's like, "No, I would never tell you not to." And they fought back and forth. And so later on, as a birthday present, I got her all the Pogs from the Simpsons, including
Oh. Was your mom just simply thrilled with you?
well, I mean, this was an argument we were having like a year ago. So yeah, we'd grown past the needing parental permission for Pogs. So
Got you. So it was just kind of like the slip in, here you go.
yeah, hey, those Pogs you always wanted. Here you go.
My gosh. Okay, so continuing on with the trends here, did you have a favorite fashion trend from the 90s? Because I mean there was a lot that happened between.
There was, and that is one thing in the 90s that is not good. Is the fashion was rough. I remember I always wanted my parents to get me the Reebok pumps. So it's these basketball shoes there's like this basketball in the tongue of the shoe, and you push on it and it inflates the shoe. It's supposed to give you magical dunking powers or something. But
I've never even heard of it.
oh yeah, and they were like $200 or something crazy. They were just, and my parents would never buy them for me. What they kept doing is buying me pretend Reebok pumps. So it's basically just like a shoe you'd get at Kmart with a basketball on the tongue, and that's not inflatable. It's not Reebok. And yeah, it was.
That's so mean. Like, if you're not going to get your kids something, don't get them the next best thing.
Well, it's called generic, love. That's, I mean,
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, Caroline, you are like on point. Baby Alive, Kitty Surprise, Super Soakers, Hungry Hippo.
Hey, we still have
These
Hungry
are
Hippos and
all-
Super
oh my
Soakers
gosh,
floating around the
yes,
house. I'm not even gonna lie.
dude. Don't tell people.
I once had the Super Soaker that required a strap to go around my shoulder so you could hold it, and you had to like pump it like this, and then it was just insane, like that, and the Nerf guns and a lot of good.
Does anybody who is about kids age, all you guys, did you guys ever get BB guns?
Oh man, I was shot with a BB gun on a couple of occasions. It hurts. Oh my gosh.
I remember there was a couple of kids who used to live across the street from us, and their dad had gotten them. I mean, nowadays it's the Nerf guns where it's the soft little, the little pellets and whatever. But no, the kids across the street, their dad got them all of these BB guns because, he's like, they were on all kinds of sports, and he was trying to teach them how to hunt and all this stuff. So he got them like all these different kinds of BB guns. So all the kids, all the dudes from my neighborhood would go around and have BB gun fights. And I'm just like, you guys are insane. Those things hurt so bad.
Well, and they also made these little yellow BBs. It was like a toy BB gun, and it was a lot softer. And obviously, you still didn't want to catch one in the eye, but Yeah. So funny story. I once had all of my toy guns taken away from me
Uh-oh.
because I got suspended from school because I had brought a hammer to school. My dad had given me this hammer, and I just thought it was the coolest thing. And this happened in the 90s, so we'll say it's relevant. Um, it unscrewed into a screwdriver, and then you crack that open, and it was like 11 more screwdrivers inside of a screwdriver. And I just thought it was cool. And
Right.
when my teacher saw me pull it out of my backpack, she immediately assumed it was a weapon. And then I panicked, and I go, well, I needed it, for protection. And thinking that was like a good, I'm only in the fourth grade, and yeah, man, I was in trouble when I got home.
Aw.
Yeah, I was doing some good crying then.
Oh. So what did you just have it just kind of as like to show your friends or
Yeah,
for
I took it out of my backpack. I'm like, hey, look at this, and you pull the hammer part off, and
It was like a Swiss Army knife, like MacGyver
Right.
had. Yeah.
yeah, and I get why I went to a pretty it was like an inner city, so there was a lot of weapons going to my school, to be honest with you. And so I get why I got suspended, but at the time, I was not a happy camper.
Oh.
Associated that with violence, so all my toy guns, my super soakers, all that stuff got taken away, and eventually, we talked about it when I was an adult. I'm like, hey, to be honest with you, it wasn't a violent thing for me to bring that hammer there. But
Right. Just kind of one of those things that like you would have the confidence to actually admit when you're older.
yeah, like there was just no talking them out of it at the time. They're just
Right.
mad. Because when you're a parent, you kind of depend on that school for daycare.
Mm.
You're sending your kid off to be watched for the day, and now all of a sudden there's a week, an unplanned week off. Like it was not well received at the St. Martin residence.
Yeesh.
Yeah, remember when MTV was actually music? Like, I remember that.
That was definitely a thing where they would do these videos, but they were music.
Yeah, that crazy thing called music, yes. My kids have no idea what MTV is.
I know what
I know what
MTV is.
MTV is.
Do you know what MTV is?
Yes.
Really? With the guy in the moon suit?
Yes.
Really? How do you guys know that?
The internet.
Interesting. No cell phone. That's true. Oh, Beavis and Butthead. Oh, Sam.
Sam,
no.
What? You guys don't like Beavis and Butthead?
No.
What is that?
That is so
You
bad.
don't wanna know.
I wanted to know.
No.
Interview over. I'm kidding. I'm back.
So I got a little sidetracked, but I guess this is kind of relevant since we're talking about Beavis and Butthead. So I know you said that you liked Terminator 2 and the Superman movies.
Oh my God. T2. Okay, extended version, right, George? Please say yes.
I had never seen the extended version until
Saw that coming.
like 5 years ago.
Sounds.
Oh my gosh. Okay, if you could see the look on my face right now, Kyle is in the extended version.
Yes, he is. Kyle Reese is in there. Like this amazing dream sequence. It actually, I think it ties together a little bit of a plot hole from the movie. But yeah,
It does. You're right. But oh my God, I wanted to be Linda Hamilton so bad. I used to go into my backyard and do pull-ups because I wanted muscles like Linda Hamilton. I never got there. Yeah, no.
well, for me, when my parents made me go to that movie, and I was not happy about it. I was not looking forward to seeing it. I had not seen the first Terminator movie.
How can you have not seen it? What?
Well, I hadn't at the time. Like now, I've definitely seen it. But when Terminator 2 came out, I was 8 years old.
Oh.
So yeah, but my parents let me watch rated R anything as long as there was no nudity. So they brought me to it, and then I was so glad they did because it immediately became my favorite movie, and it stood the test of time. Like for me, it's always on my like top 5 list.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I know it's always hard to pick one, but what would you say at least your top set of favorite movies from the 90s are?
Ooh,
T2 is one of them.
Terminator 2 is definitely one of them.
Aliens.
Aliens would definitely be in that list.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Batman Returns. I will say was The Rock in the 90s. I'm pretty sure it was. And I'm trying to think of the name of it now. You got to give me a minute. We're coming back to. I gotta Google it.
Okay.
In the Line of Fire. In the Line of Fire, with Clint Eastwood and Thor's mom was in it.
Rene Russo.
Yeah, Rene Russo.
Lethal Weapon 3.
Oh, Lethal Weapon movies. All three of those are also in my top 5.
Or the Die Hards.
Yeah, but she's not in. Thomas Crown Affair. Are you thinking of Thomas Crown Affair?
No, I was thinking In the Line of Fire.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But yeah, I was always way more Lethal Weapon than I was Die Hard. And I can enjoy the Die Hard movies, but Lethal Weapon for me was in a different class.
George, right now you were talking my language right now. Yes. We will always watch Lethal Weapon first, and then if Die Hard kind of comes around, we'll watch Die Hard as well.
Oh yeah, gosh, you guys are mentioning like such great Total Recall.
I've played Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering is not old for me.
Oh, Caroline, I can't do Silence of the Lambs. It's too icky. Can't do it.
I don't even want to.
I'm a big baby.
Independence Day. That was a good movie.
Independence Day. Will Smith. That's a great one. Yeah.
The lawyer from that movie.
Raoul, we are.
the Jeff Goldblum's coworker, the one that had the really funny voice. I lost you. You mean he's like, hey, I gotta call my mother. You don't remember that guy from Independence Day?
Oh yes, I do.
I haven't seen Independence Day in a few years.
Super grelly.
Yeah, he had a real funny
the one
voice.
who did Yao from Mulan. I think he's the guy who played that voice. Yes.
So I lost my voice once, and I sounded like that dude for like 2 months.
Oh.
And I just figured my voice would come back, and it never did. I had to go take an antibiotic or something. But
oh no!
I was gonna say, how could you lose your voice for 2 months? Like, that's kind of ridiculous. What did you do?
I just got sick, and then I woke up one day and my voice was gone, and I was like, this is normal. It'll come back, and it didn't, and it was it was pretty weird.
Right. Okay. So, favorite TV show? I know we said Lois and Clark.
Superman the Animated Series.
Which is awesome. You know what? We totally guessed at your thumbnail.
Yeah, because your thumbnail is Spider-Man the Animated
Series. That's what we used.
Yep.
Points for us. Okay.
Yes. No, I saw that. And I was like, ugh.
Exactly. Thank you.
But yeah, Batman the Animated Series is right in there. Justice League was right in there, but I think that was late 90s. And then X-Men. I loved X-Men, the animated series. I even liked Spider-Man.
That's what you grew up on. Yep. Oh, the Tick. Yes.
Yes, we have the first 2
now
seasons.
I have that theme song in my head. Bow, bow. Okay, sorry, I'm not going to do that.
Look at this chat.
Spider-Man the Animated Series.
Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. I fell asleep watching that last night. Like I usually like to fall asleep watching a 90s cartoon.
That's because you can't beat them. They can't be beaten.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think I still have the Spider-Man animated series up in my room somewhere because I had my TV next to my bed. I totally do that. Yeah. All right. I am going to swiftly move because I just looked at the time and I look up and I see Cade's eyes looking over the computer at me.
Down memory lane.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna scoot.
Perfect time.
Chair scoot. Okay. All right. Welcome to BBA 99's Fire facts.
Is that like a 90s hair flip?
Yes.
Oh,
All
okay.
right.
Yeah.
All right. So, fact number 1 is that George's favorite color is red, as you can see by all the little banners and
Which
stuff.
is my favorite color, too.
It is,
Whisper,
yeah.
whisper.
Yeah.
All right. And number 2 is that George got his driver's license at 30 years old. That's super cool. All right. And number 3 is that Life with 2 YouTubers, my mom graduated in 1990. And she's not old, by the way.
I'm not old.
All right. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to go pet my Furby.
What? Kate, if you have a Furby, I would be genuinely scared.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh, Baywatch. You
Tattletale
guys
music
are cute.
slowly begins
Hey,
to play.
Kirk. Hi, mullets. Yes.
Oh, I know. Or what were they called? Rat tails, where you would only grow out one section
and then
of
the
your
people with
hair.
braided. Did you have a rat tail, George?
I did, but I never did the bowl haircut. Well, here's the deal: the rat tail was not cool, but it was easy to get out of. There's this one little snip with the scissors, and that thing is over with.
Right.
There you go.
It was actually really weird. When I was still working at the grocery store, had this mother and her 2 kids come in, and her son had a rat tail, and I'm like, okay, I guess I can see it, but that's like totally a 90s like what? This kid's like 7. Speaking of weirdest things out of the 90s, what would you say what was the weirdest thing you think came from the 90s era?
Wow.
If
That's a
there's
tough
others, don't worry.
No, that's a tough one. Yeah, I'm gonna have to come back to that one because I need to think about that. Like weirdest thing to come from the 90s, like that you.
Or just like in your opinion, like what do you think was the weirdest one? Because I mean, obviously you don't like Pogs. That's clearly a nope.
I mean, I had this toy called Gak. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but it is basically like this little like tube, and it was just a slime.
I remember Gak.
Yeah, and it made fart noises as you pushed it back in the tube.
Yeah.
And, that was pretty weird. Like everything was like extreme, like the over the edge, over the top. Like you go like if you YouTube like Sega Genesis commercials, like the game system Sega Genesis, like the commercials for Sega Genesis like encompass the 90s really, really well. And it's everything just needed to be, with an X, extreme. And yeah, it was. Oh, I saw a cat moving in the background.
Oh, hi, mommy.
Oh yes, that's the princess. That's Dagger.
That's the princess. Yes, she's like, how dare you humans close the curtain on my window spot?
So George, comic books. You said you started collecting and you're big into Superman. Show us some crown jewels. I know we're talking about 90s, but I want to see some of your crown jewels. Something that you're really proud of.
My favorite set from the 90s was Superman Doomsday Hunter Prey. And each issue showed, Superman on the front and Doomsday on the back. And it's like their big rematch after he came back to life.
Right.
And then the next issue, he's closer, and so is Doomsday.
That's
and then
creepy.
the final issue, he's even closer yet, and so is Doomsday.
Dang.
And that's just a run that I recently, like, I had them all, but I didn't have them graded yet. And I got them all recently during, the pandemic when everyone was sitting at home feeling bad for themselves. That's what I bought that I was really excited about.
So, which means that you've cracked them open and you've read them, right?
Well, not these copies. Those ones are the graded ones, but yeah, I do have reader copies of all those books.
Got you. Okay, I was gonna be like, have you cracked them open just to take a peek during the pandemic? I mean,
No.
Now, would you say that those are your crown jewel issues, or would you say you have another run that you think? I mean, I guess since this is the comic book community, what does the audience think? What in your guys' opinion, what was one of the better comics to come out of the 90s?
You had Batman getting his back broken.
I actually just saw a picture of that on Instagram. I think it was today or yesterday.
And this is one I was really excited about because the direct edition had like a black cardboard barrier over the half of it. This is like an extra cover. And it was just weird. And the newsstand edition, which is what this one is. Hey, kitty.
This is Charlie Boy, our new kitten.
So yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's a really cool
Charlie,
one.
you made crash the stream. Oh my gosh. Get off the keyboard.
This one is my favorite Batman movie. This is the
I can literally see the Batman animated series print on it.
Yep, and it's signed by Kevin Conroy.
Holy cow! Have you met him?
Yes, he came
That is
to.
so not fair.
He came to a comic convention.
Nice. He seems like he would be so nice.
He was very, very nice, and he signed it to Dee Runk Comics.
Oh,
wow!
That is so cool.
That is not fair.
That is so
that
not
is
fair.
not fair at
Oh my
all.
So yeah, this is one of it. And he was like, I had to go to this convention twice because the first time he wasn't there, so I had to go back the next day and meet him. And even on the label, I don't know if we can see it, but it even says to Dee Runk Comics on the label.
Wow. That is not fair at all.
That
I
is
love
amazing,
Kevin Conroy.
George. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
He's so cool.
No, he was super cool. And I mean, if you grew up in the 90s, you hear Batman's voice in your head. It's Kevin
Yes.
Yep.
Conroy. And it's not even close.
Sorry that comment keeps popping up. I have a cat who keeps walking across the
Yeah,
keyboard.
I'm not at my computer, and Dagger keeps walking on the computer.
Yeah, no,
Sorry
Rob's
about
comment
that.
keeps popping up. It's because my cat's
I'm
walking on the
so
keyboard.
Sorry.
And this is X-Men the animated series. So they just redid each episode of the cartoon in this comic book.
Oh, wow.
So this was a lot of fun to collect. And then probably my all-time favorite book, and it's got like a sad connotation to it, but it definitely came from the 90s, and this is the last Christmas present I got from my mom before she passed away. So but she found a book that she knew I wanted, and she tracked it down on eBay and gave it to me, and it's a very, very cool book, and it's a sought after book, but this one is pretty special to me.
That's amazing.
That one takes the crown easily.
Yes.
Why?
Because it's
No. No.
Kevin Conroy.
No.
Play it.
No.
So mean.
She pulls up a Kevin
I
Conroy
totally
montage.
She won't let me play it.
That's oh my gosh.
You
Okay.
gotta play it.
We
This
need
is
a
the
picture.
line.
We need a picture of Batman. Hang on. Okay.
George will know.
No, you are not.
Can you guess what episode
I
this
am
is?
not a disgrace.
It's Fear of Victory.
Yes.
Yes.
100%. George wins the prize.
Try
Yay! He even knew the name of the episode. Boom!
While he's saying that, he is dangling off of a blimp,
Mhm.
and he is seeing a vision of his father being disappointed in him.
Yes.
From
Something
Scarecrow.
tells me you've seen the episode
Okay.
recently.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's been a few years, but it definitely left a mark. I love the episode. And
Definitely. Sorry, I had to step away from my computer. We had to feed our
Yeah, because there was the
Gold,
kitten,
yes.
and then there was my cat who's been lurking in the back window back here. I'm sure you guys have seen her. Okay, really quick before we're gone. Weirdest trend. What did
Oh,
you think? Because I can list off like 6 that are just kind of oddball.
well, and I think we discussed a few. I think you mentioned oxygen bars, but
Oxygen bars are weird.
that never impacted me during the 90s because I never went to one. There was Beanie Babies, which a lot of people were collecting.
There was the fanny pack. I still see people walk around with fanny packs.
Fanny packs are, but weirdest like the 90s loved neon colors,
Tie-dye.
fluorescence, and you get your bright orange, your bright neon yellow, and like electric blue. Like the 90s loved all that stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of weird color and fashion choices. And
Leg warmers, were leg warmers the 90s? Or was
I
that the
honestly don't
80s?
know. The
I don't
hot
know.
pink leg warmers.
Yes,
Yes.
trading.
I'm wearing a pair right now.
Kicks the leg up just to show.
That's right, Eric. It's Nerf or nothing.
Oh my gosh. Were they? I thought those were early 2000s.
I don't know.
No, they were definitely 90s.
Were they? Huh.
Oh, yeah. There were some good ones. You could the first Nerf, they weren't even darts. They were like balls, like foam balls that they would shoot.
Right.
It'd be like a cannon and shoot it out. Pokemon cards, Dragon Ball Z. That's another big
I could
trend.
never get into Dragon Ball Z. Couldn't do it.
A lot of people
My wife is very into it. I am not.
I was gonna say another weird one was the trolls. The little trolls that with
troll dolls,
the
yeah.
hair.
Mhm.
I do not actually know anybody who's ever had one of those. All I know is that like they tend to make fun of them in movies a lot.
I used
You'll
to
just see
mock
like
them,
a
Guardians
pan
of the
and you'll
Galaxy.
see like trolls just like on the windowsill or in someone's car.
Hialeah just mentioned Power Rangers.
Go, go, Power Rangers!
You know, I watched Power Rangers for a time when I was younger.
Yeah.
She would mock the ever living crap out of me.
Oh, whenever they would get all big and it was that guy in the suit.
I like the actual
oh.
personal storylines with the
Terrible.
actual actors, like
So-
whatever their personal deal was during the show.
So my favorite thing is I did like a report on the Power Rangers at school, and I had to give like a synopsis of what the show was like. So, and I'll try and make it really quick, but the synopsis was pretty much, Rita, sends these putties down, and the Power Rangers fight them real quick. Then she sends down a monster, and then they morph into the Power Rangers, and then they fight the monster. Then the monster grows, and then they get in the Zord, and then they kill the monster. And
Yeah.
so my teacher goes, well, you've just described one episode, but what are all the other episodes like? And it hit me. I was like, oh, hell, they're all like that. I kind of stopped watching.
With always the dramatic explosion at the very end.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
in the city, people make fun of some of the, modern comic book movies for destroying cities, but go watch the skyscrapers that get demolished in Angel Grove during the Power Rangers show. They wreck this, and then they rebuild it in record time. It's
Right, because each episode's like a different day or different week or whatever,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Boy bands, yep, Lady Fantastic. That was another one. Although I can't say anything about that one. Well, what? Oh, okay. I was like, all I see is
The
Mom
cat stole my
holding
spot.
a laptop,
I'm
and I'm like,
holding my laptop in the air, as you can see, because the doggone little scrunchy kitten has
is
stolen
sitting
the
where
spot.
her
Yes.
spot's supposed to be.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Oh, little boo. Okay, well, I think with the kittens starting to take over the show, I think we should wrap it up there. So thank you all, everyone, for coming. And it was very amusing just watching the chat this time around because everybody just had something different to say. It was just kind of amusing. George,
Lots of memories. George, thank you.
Thank you so
for taking us
much.
down memory lane.
Thank you for having me on.
this was a lot of fun, and I suspected that we were going to get some good laughs out of all of this.
Oh yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to everyone in the chat who is riding the roller coaster with us. And I think, as always, we will see you all later.